Welcome to Top Trending and Open Source GitHub Projects this week, where we explore fresh tools that boost your workflow in code, AI, data, and creative tech. In this video, you'll discover how real developers use powerful open source projects to learn faster, build smarter, and experiment with new ideas. From RSC Explorer, shining a light on React Server components, to SpexFlow, helping you plan AI-assisted coding, you'll see practical projects you can try today. Project number 1, RSC Explorer. Interactive React Server Stream Visualizer. Let's dive into a curious tool called RSC Explorer that brings the invisible world of React Server components into view for learners and developers. RSC Explorer is a free open-source browser app written mostly in TypeScript that runs both the server and client sides of the React Server Components protocol right in your browser and shows the streaming output step by step. It uses React Server DOM Webcock and a worker to simulate a real RSC environment without needing a backend, and it reveals how a React tree evolves as the server streams chunks. You can explore examples like async components, counters, form actions, pagination, and error handling to see how server and client logic interplay in real time. Built for educators, curious engineers, and front-end devs who want deeper insight into RSC internals. RSC Explorer makes a complex streaming protocol tangible and clear. Try it today and see how it sharpens your understanding of modern React workflows. Project number 2, Gentleman Guardian Angel, AI-driven code review via Git. Let's dive into a clever tool called Gentleman Guardian Angel that brings AI into your daily commits as a silent reviewer every time you write code. This open-source, provider-agnostic code review tool is built in pure Bash, so it runs anywhere with zero dependencies and plugs into Git as a pre-commit hook to check your staged files before they land in the repo. It uses whatever AI provider you choose, Claude, Gemini, Codex, Llama, and compares your code against rules you define in a simple agents.mb, catching style, structure, or architectural issues early. It speeds up feedback with smart caching that skips unchanged files and lets teams enforce shared standards without waiting for human reviews. Made for developers and teams who care about quality and consistency, it gives instant automated review on every commit. Try it and feel how smooth your code validation becomes. Project number 3, Seeklit, friendly terminal UI for SeekWell databases. Let's dive into a lively tool named SeekWell that makes working with SeekWell databases feel as smooth as using your favorite terminal editor. SeekWell is an open-source Python-powered terminal UI that connects you instantly to many database types, including SeekWell, Postgres, MySQL, SeekWell Server, Terso, and more, all from a single interface. It runs right in your terminal, lets you browse tables, run queries, view results with syntax highlighting, fuzzy search through millions of rows, and even auto-detects running Docker databases to save you time. The UI uses Vim-style key bindings and stores secure credentials in your OS keyring, so you stay in control of your data. Developers, data analysts, and engineers get fast, lightweight access to their data without loading heavy GUI tools, boosting productivity in daily workflows. Try it and feel how simple SQL work can be. Project number 4, Mosaico, Open Robotics Data Platform. Here's something that feels like the future in robotics data systems, called Mosaico, an open-source data platform built to help developers and engineers manage and explore complex robotics and physical AI datasets with better structure and performance. Mosaico lives in a monorepo that pairs a Rust server daemon, Mosaico, handling data conversion, compression, storage logic, and a Python SDK, Mosaico-STK PyVoi, that talks to it so you can load, query, and manipulate robot data in code without learning a new query language. It uses Rust and Python together, standard client-server patterns, and a Docker-based quick start to get things running, though it's still in early active development with APIs and internals shifting as it grows. Built for robotics researchers and developers wrestling with rich sensor streams and physical AI logs, it brings order to messy data flows while keeping performance and developer experience in focus. Try it today and watch your workflows feel clearer and smoother. Project number 5, GogCPI, Google Services in your terminal. Here's something that feels like the future for command line lovers who live in terminals and want direct access to their Google Workspace without a browser. GogCPI is an open-source CLI tool written in Go that connects your terminal to Google services like Gmail, Calendar, Drive, and Contacts, using official Google APIs and OAuth 2 credentials, so you can list emails, manage events, browse files, and search contacts right from shell commands. It stores tokens securely with your OS keyring and lets you output results in both plain text and JSON for easy scripting. Built for developers, sysadmins, and power users who value speed and automation in workflows instead of clicking through interfaces, it simplifies everyday Google interactions with typed commands. Try it and see how quickly it becomes part of your daily workflow. Project number 6, SpexFlow, visual workflow for AI code context planning. Here's something that feels like the future when your coding task meets an LLM and a visual canvas to organize both. SpexFlow is a free, open-source, node-based workflow tool built with React Flow, Vite, TypeScript, and Express that runs in your browser and lets you turn a concrete feature idea into a curated context, a refined implementation plan, and a clean prompt for a fresh context code agent like Codex or Claude Code. It loads a local repo, lets you search code via a relay-fast agentic search or manual selection, converts selected files into numbered context, and then runs LLM prompts to generate structured outputs you can reuse. Designed for engineers and AI researchers who wrestle with scattered context and long feature tasks, it simplifies complex development planning and reuses cached node outputs for speed. Try it and watch your workflow clarity jump instantly. Project number 7, Catopic, serverless self-hosted image service. Here's something that feels like the future if you want to run your own image hosting without owning a heavy server. Catopic is a free, open-source image hosting platform that runs its backend entirely on Cloudflare workers and its front-end with next.js on Vercel, so image uploads, conversions, and browsing happen at the edge with minimal cost and latency. It stores originals and auto-generated WebP and AVIF versions in Cloudflare R2, keeps metadata and tags in D1 Sklit, and caches responses with KV to speed up delivery and save database load. You can tag images, set expirations, and even pull a random image through a public API, making it great for personal galleries, blogs, or edge-powered apps. Built for developers and creators who value speed, control, and low operational overhead, Catopic lets you own and serve images efficiently. Give it a try and feel how smooth image workflows become. Project number 8, Agent JSON, fixes broken AI JSON outputs reliably. Here's something that feels like the future for anyone building AI agent pipelines that choke on messy data formats. Agent JSON is a free, open-source, Rust-powered JSON parser with Python bindings that automatically extracts and repairs broken or near JSON text that typical strict parsers reject, so you get usable structured data even when LLMs produce extra prose, stray quotes, missing commas, or markdown fences. It works by isolating the JSON span, applying deterministic heuristics, using probabilistic top K parsing with confidence scores, and falling back to an optional LLM-assisted minimal patch only when needed, which keeps latency and cost predictable. You can use it as a CLI tool, a drop-in shim for existing loaders like OR.json, or via Python import, making it handy for developers and data engineers who want robust JSON handling in AI workflows. Try it and see how messy outputs become clean and reliable. Project number 9, Go Invoice Ninja, idiomatic Go SDK for Invoice Ninja API. Let's dive into a tool that turns invoicing APIs into straightforward Go code with clarity and control. Go Invoice Ninja is a free, open-source Go SDK that wraps the Invoice Ninja REST API in clean, idiomatic client methods, so developers can manage payments, invoices, clients, credits, files, and webhooks without wrestling with raw HTTP calls. It uses native Go with secure token-based authentication, built-in rate limiting and retry logic, and can talk to both cloud-hosted and self-hosted Invoice Ninja instances, making API access robust and predictable. The project includes detailed docs and runnable examples that show how to list payments, generate invoices, handle webhook events, and download PDFs. Built for back-end engineers and automation builders, it saves time and avoids repetitive boilerplate when building billing or CRM integrations. Try it and see how it simplifies Invoice Ninja workflows. Project number 10, NMOE, Opinionated MOE Trainer for B200 Hardware. Let's dive into a project that brings cutting-edge AI training closer to specialized GPUs and real parallelism strategies. NMOE is an open-source mixture of experts MOE training framework geared toward NVIDIA Blackwell B200 GPUs and uses an alternative expert communication system called RDFE, which avoids slow collective all-to-all operations by writing tokens directly between GPUs using CUDA IPC and NVSH MEM. The codebase mixes Python for high-level training logic, CUDA and Triton kernels for performance, and config files in TOML to define models and hardware layouts. It is container-first with Docker setups to build and run, supports multi-GPU and multi-node training, and includes an experimental NVS dashboard for metrics and visual feedback. Designed for AI researchers and engineers pushing MOE models on specific hardware, it offers a focused and efficient way to experiment with large expert models without general-purpose overhead. Try it and feel how targeted GPU training gains clarity and speed. Project number 11, Agent Console Desktop Viewer for Agent Execution Details. Here's something that feels like the future when you need a clear window into what an AI agent is really doing behind the scenes. Agent Console is a free open-source desktop app built with TypeScript and Rust via Towery that lets you inspect detailed event logs, view file edits, search across conversations, and analyze policy evaluations from an agent session, especially with tools like Claude Code. It shows timestamps and filters for logs, diffs of file changes, and a policy viewer with traces to help you understand decisions in depth. Designed for developers and researchers debugging complex agent flows, it runs locally after a simple pntm install and pntm Towery dev, and gives direct insight into sub-agent sessions without guesswork. Explore it once and feel how much clearer your AI workflows become. Project number 12, 10K, AI Chat over SEC filings data. Here's something that feels like the future when financial filings meet conversational AI to save you hours of manual reading. 10K is an open-source Python tool that lets you talk to SEC 10K and 10Q filings using natural language instead of flipping through hundreds of pages of dense text, and it returns answers with direct citations to the source documents. It automatically fetches filings from SEC Edgar, chunks and indexes them into a local vector database with semantic search, and combines that with AI analysis so you can query across multiple companies or periods at once. It also taps stock data and web search for context, and can export results into Excel, PDF, or DOCX formats. Built for investors, analysts, and researchers who want quick, accurate insights from complex filings, it makes financial documents conversational and actionable. Try it and see how easily your investment questions get answered. Project number 13, TomCP, turn web pages into MCP servers. Let's dive into a smart tool called TomCP that gives you a cleaner way to turn any public website or documentation into an MCP server, so AI assistants can consume it with much fewer tokens and clearer structure. TomCP runs pages through a readability parser to strip boilerplate and navigation, convert them into clean markdown, and expose them as MCP resources your AI tooling can pin as persistent context. It uses a lightweight proxy approach, works with any public URL, and integrates with popular AI tools that support MCP configs so developers can embed docs directly into their LLM workflows. Built for creators, engineers, and anyone using AI for deep code or text understanding, it improves context quality while reducing cost and hallucinations. Try it and feel how much simpler your AI-driven research becomes. Project number 14, LLM Walkthrough. Explore the answer space of open LLMs. Here's something that feels like the future for those curious about how different language models respond across queries and reasoning paths. LLM Walk is a free open-source project that helps you explore the answer space of open large language models by interacting with multiple models to compare what they generate and how they vary. The codebase and activities show it's actively developed with basic structure visible on GitHub, though details about specific workflows or integrations are minimal in the public README. Built for researchers, developers, and AI practitioners who want deeper insight into model behavior or want to benchmark outputs side by side, it makes comparing open model generations more accessible than juggling manual prompts. Try it and discover how varied model responses can be. Project number 15, Cut It Out, Browser AI Background Removal Tool. Here's something that feels like the future for anyone who edits images and cares about privacy and performance. Cut It Out is a free, open-source, client-side image background removal tool that runs entirely in your browser without uploading photos to servers, keeping your data private and processing fast. It loads a U2Net deep learning model via WebAssembly to execute removal in real time inside the browser, and it offers smart brushes and restore modes so you can refine edits with zoom and pan control. You get full-resolution transparent PNG exports with no watermarks, which makes it great for creators, marketers, or anyone preparing visuals without complex desktop tools. Try it today and feel how smooth and private your image editing becomes. Project number 16, Shout Fast Local Speech-to-Text Tool. Let's dive into a neat utility called Shout that turns your spoken words into typed text right from your keyboard without leaving the terminal. Shout is a free open-source tool written in shell script that runs on Wayland setups like Hyperland or Omarchy. and uses a tiny local whisper model for fast speech-to-text transcription. You bind a hotkey, press it to start recording, speak, then press it again to transcribe and output the text into your active window with minimal delay and no cloud APIs. Built for Linux power users and developers who want quick, private dictation for notes, coding, or writing, it keeps audio processing local and integrates smoothly with your existing workflow. Try it and see how quickly voice input becomes a natural part of your shell work. Project number 17, C in Trek, Spatial Prompting for Multimodal AI. Let's dive into a research-driven project called C in Trek that tackles how to add spatial and motion cues into multimodal language models without retraining or extra GPU costs. C in Trek is an open-source framework that extracts semantic keyframes and reconstructs camera motion from videos to create spatial prompts that guide large multimodal models to reason about space and movement better. It uses off-the-shelf perception tools and visual autometry, so models understand structure and context in videos with just a single forward pass. And it works with many open and commercial MLMs without changing their architecture. Built for AI researchers and engineers pushing vision language understanding, it brings richer spatial awareness into prompts and improves performance on benchmarks that test spatial reasoning. Try it and feel how richer context can change what AI models understand. Project number 18, Mention Network Doc Bot, Automated AI Bot for Mention Network. Let's dive into a tool called Mention Network Automation Bot that automates interactions on the Mention network using advanced AI to generate organic, context-aware conversations and handle daily activities. This open-source Python project runs multi-threaded automation with integrations for Google Gemini and Grok models, manages proxies and tokens, and offers command line and optional Telegram control for oversight. It includes features like smart persona generation, automated quests, proxy support, and real-time terminal UI to track threads and activity, all aimed at keeping interactions lively and efficient. Built for hobbyists and developers who want to streamline repetitive web tasks and maximize engagement with minimal manual effort, it blends AI response generation with automation strategies. Try it and see how AI-driven workflows handle daily interaction tasks. Project number 19, PDF-Brain, Local PDF and Markdown Knowledge Base. Here's something that feels like the future for researchers and note-takers who want searchable context from documents without cloud cost. PDF-Brain is an open-source CLI tool that builds a local knowledge base from PDFs and Markdown files, using semantic vector search with libsql and embeddings to let you ask precise queries across your library. It extracts text, optionally enriches it with local LLMs via Ollama, stores dense vector embeddings, and supports hybrid search combining semantic and full-text results for accuracy. It also works as an MCP server for AI assistants, turning your collection into a rich queryable dataset without sending data to external APIs. Built for analysts, students, and developers who want fast local search and AI-powered insights from their documents, it simplifies research and retrieval. Try it and feel how quickly your knowledge base responds. Project number 20, Obsidian Life Tracker, Base View, Visual Life Data in Obsidian. Let's dive into a plugin called Life Tracker for Obsidian that brings your personal track data to life with visual charts and insights inside your favorite note app. This open-source plugin adds a custom base view type to Obsidian that transforms time series or tag data into graphs and dashboards, so you can see patterns in habits, goals, mood logs, or fitness stats without leaving your vault. It runs where Obsidian runs and taps into your existing Markdown notes, enhancing them with meaningful visuals and keeping everything local to protect your privacy. Built for anyone tracking metrics, habits, or life events, it boosts reflection and self-monitoring without extra cloud tools. Try it once and feel how your track data becomes a living story. Project number 21, Spider, Physics-Based Robot Retargeting Framework. Here's something that feels like the future for robotics researchers trying to bridge human motion and robot control seamlessly. Spider is a free, open-source Python framework from Facebook Research, designed to retarget human motion data into dynamically feasible robot actions across many robot types by using physics-informed sampling and simulation instead of purely kinematic methods. It supports multiple simulated environments and hardware backends, converts human demonstrations into robot trajectories, and integrates with tools like MuJoCo Wrap and Genesis for training or real deployment. Built for robotics engineers and AI researchers, it helps scale motion retargeting while preserving dynamical realism and adaptability across embodiments. Explore it and feel how complex motion planning becomes more structured and extensible. Project number 22, Metal Goose, GPU upscaling, and frame gen for macOS. Let's dive into a tool that brings real-time graphics boosts to Mac gaming and apps. Metal Goose is an open-source native macOS application built with SwiftUI and Apple's Metal GPU framework that delivers upscaling and frame generation similar to DLSS FSR, but tailored for Apple Silicon, letting you choose performance, balance, or quality modes, and even motion-compensated frame multipliers. It overlays info like FPS and GPU metrics while you capture a window or display directly through macOS Screen Capture Kit. Designed for Apple users who want better visuals and smoother frame pacing without cloud services or external tools, it runs locally and lets you tune rendering scales and anti-aliasing to match your needs. Try it and feel how graphics clarity and smoothness improve on macOS. Project number 23, AnyTool, Universal AI Agent Tool Layer. Here's something that feels like the future for AI agent builders seeking a consistent way to orchestrate tool use. AnyTool is an open-source universal tool use layer from HKUDS that provides a lightweight server as a bridge between large language model agents and external tools, exposing a uniform HTTP surface so agents can reliably call functions, APIs, and utilities during reasoning. It addresses major pain points in agent-to-tool communication and grows with community contributions to support diverse capabilities. Designed for researchers and developers building autonomous workflows, it simplifies how agents manage tool contexts and expands what they can reliably do without brittle integrations. Try it and see how smoothly agents interact with tools. Project number 24, Oh My Open Code, Plugin Bundle for Open Code Agent. Let's dive into a powerful enhancement layer for the open code coding agent ecosystem. Oh My Open Code is an open-source plugin suite that layers curated subagents, asynchronous workflows, model integrations, and tools like LSP/AST support atop the base open code agent experience, so your AI coding workflows feel richer and more capable. It adds ready-made agent personas like oracles and librarians, integrates Claude Code-compatible components, and brings tooling that helps with deeper code introspection and edits. Built for developers who already use open code and want smarter interactions, it runs as a plugin inside that environment and enhances real-time coding assistance. Try it and feel how much more responsive your agent feels. Project number 25, HN Time Capsule, AI Reflection on Hacker News History. Here's something that feels like the future for anyone curious about tech discourse over time. HN Time Capsule is a free open-source project by Andrei Karpathy that collects hacker news threads from years past and analyzes them with large language models, letting you ask questions and get reflective summaries about how ideas and opinions have aged. It uses Python tooling to fetch, process, and query archive discussions so you can explore trends and context without endless scrolling through old pages. Built for researchers, writers, and tech enthusiasts, it turns raw historical discussion into engaging AI-assisted insight. Try it and feel how yesterday's debates become today's wisdom. Project number 26, SVXL Agent, Excel AI Assistant with MCP tools. Let's dive into a tool that blends AI with spreadsheets to make Excel work feel conversational and automated. SVXL Agent is a free open-source Python project that builds an Excel MCP server and an AI agent runner so large language models can read, edit, and automate Excel files via structured tools and prompts. It includes demos like a web-based Excel assistant and a Slack workflow, shows how to run the MCP server locally, and even benchmarks leading LLMs on spreadsheet tasks using Spreadsheet Bench. Developers and analysts get a way to offload repetitive formulas, formatting, and data manipulation to an AI that understands Excel semantics, saving time and reducing errors. Try it today and feel how spreadsheet workflows become more intuitive. Project number 27, Device Activity Tracker, POC for tracking device online status. Here's something that feels like a deep dive into mobile messaging privacy and device behavior. Device Activity Tracker is a public proof-of-concept project demonstrating how a phone number's delivery receipts and round-trip timing leaks can reveal whether a device is active, idle, or offline on platforms like WhatsApp or Signal. Written mainly in TypeScript with node.js components, it showcases how subtle network signals can expose device states without explicit consent, highlighting a real privacy vulnerability rather than a production tool. It's built for security researchers and privacy engineers to explore messaging protocol weaknesses and understand how delivery timing patterns correlate with user device activity. Try it and see how subtle communication patterns map to real device behavior. Project number 28, Open Scouts, AI Web Monitoring and Alert Platform. Let's dive into a tool that keeps watch while you focus on other tasks. Open Scouts is an open-source web monitoring platform that lets you define scouts, automated monitors, to search the web for keywords or conditions you care about, and send email alerts when matches occur. It runs as a server that schedules scouts, fetches pages, applies filters or search criteria, and notifies you of results, making it easier to track trends, mentions, or updates across many sites. Built for developers, content managers, and researchers who want automated oversight without custom scripts, it simplifies monitoring workflows and keeps you informed without manual checking. Try it and see how easily you stay on top of web signals. Project number 29, StoolOp Rust Embedded SQL Database Engine. Here's something that feels like the future if you care about fast, reliable local databases. StoolOp is an open-source embedded SQL database written in Rust that focuses on simplicity, performance, and a modern implementation of SQL engine patterns without external dependencies. It includes parser and planner components, a custom storage layer, and is designed to be embeddable in applications where lightweight local data handling matters. Built for developers needing a compact SQL engine inside Rust apps, it gives full SQL query support with safe, memory-efficient Rust code and a clean API surface. Try it and feel how powerful embedded databases can be without heavy external systems. Project number 30, Puzzle.ai, Multi-LLM Orchestration Framework. Let's dive into a framework built for navigating diverse language models with unified logic and control. Puzzle.ai is an open-source project that provides an orchestration layer over multiple large language models, letting you define pipelines, branching logic, and model strategies to solve tasks with compositional reasoning across models. It includes core components to schedule, dispatch, and integrate model calls, manage prompts, and collect structured outputs, so complex workflows involving many LLMs feel predictable and composable. Built for AI engineers and researchers who want structured, repeatable multi-model reasoning, it makes juggling multiple LLMs in applications easier and more systematic. Try it and feel how orchestrated model workflows become practical. Project number 31, Stirrup, Lightweight Agent Framework Foundation. Let's dive into a clever foundation for building AI agents that feels designed to get out of your way while you create. Stirrup is a free, open-source Python framework that gives you a minimal yet powerful starting point for building agents with flexible tool execution, context management, and modular skills instead of rigid workflows. It runs with standard Python packaging and includes essentials like web search, web fetch, code execution, and plugin-style tools, letting you focus on agent behavior instead of boilerplate. You can customize providers, extend tools, and manage multimodal inputs like images or audio. Built for developers and AI engineers who want a clean base to prototype agents with composable parts, it brings best practices from leading systems into a perceptible, lightweight core. Try it and feel how agent construction becomes smoother and clearer. Project number 32, Unsevered Memory, Simple Semantic Memory for Claude Code. Here's something that feels like the future in agent memory systems built to feel organic and lightweight. Unsevered Memory is an open-source memory module designed specifically for Claude Code that stores and retrieves context with a focus on relevance and simplicity. It manages semantic memories that help an AI recall important facts, user preferences, and interactions without overwhelming the core agent, improving consistency and continuity in long sessions. Built for developers and AI aficionados who want to enhance retrieval quality without heavy infrastructure, it supports extensibility while keeping concepts easy to understand and adapt. Try it and feel how enhanced memory brings more continuity to AI conversations. Project number 33, ComfyUI's Enhanced ComfyUI Web Interface. Let's dive into a refined way to interact with ComfyUI that feels friendlier and more accessible. ComfyUI is an open-source web interface built to sit atop a local ComfyUI installation, giving users a richer, feature-packed browser GUI instead of just node graphs. It offers workspace management, node search, presets, and UI workflows that simplify building complex generation pipelines and experimentation loops without constantly switching tools. Designed for creators and AI artists who run ComfyUI locally, it improves productivity and visual control while keeping everything on your machine. Try it and see how exploring creative workflows becomes noticeably smoother. Project number 34, React 2 Shell Scanner, detects RSC, next.js, RCE vulnerabilities. Here's something that feels like the future for security tooling that keeps pace with modern web frameworks. React 2 Shell Scanner is an open-source Python command line tool that tests next.js apps using React server components for specific remote code execution weaknesses, tied to recently disclosed CVEs. It crafts test requests to exercise unsafe endpoints, checks results in headers or safe side channel indicators, and supports options for WAF bypass, Windows-style payloads, thread-based scanning, and output to JSON for integration with workflows. Built for security engineers and developers who need reliable vulnerability detection in modern stacks, it simplifies scanning and verification against cutting-edge threats. Try it and feel how threat discovery becomes more systematic. Project number 35, Paper 2 Slides. From papers to slides in one click, let's dive into a tool that turns dense written research and reports into polished presentations as if by magic. Paper 2 Slides is a free open-source Python-driven pipeline that reads PDFs, Word files, Markdown, and more, builds a RAG-powered index, extracts key content and figures, plans slide layouts, and generates professional-grade visuals and posters with customizable styles. It offers a fast CLI that lets you produce slides with one command, supports parallel generation for speed, and saves checkpoints so you can pause or resume at any stage. Built for researchers, academics, and presenters who dread manual slide creation, it brings automation and quality together in a reproducible workflow. Try it and feel how quickly your docs turn into presentations. Project number 36, StoryGen Atelier, AI storyboard to video generator. Here's something that feels like the future in creative storytelling tech that blends narrative and generative media. StoryGen Atelier is an open-source AI-assisted storyboard and video generation tool that takes your story idea and automatically turns it into a full video sequence with intermediate transitions. It uses large language models like Gemini to generate storyboard text and image frames, calls Vertex AI VO to generate transition clips between frames, and stitches everything into a coherent video with FBevMP. The stack spans React and Vite in the front end, node.js and Better Slide 3 in the back end, and built-in logs and a gallery to organize outputs. Designed for creators and storytellers who want to move from concept to polished visual narrative without manual animation work, it makes multimedia creation feel more intuitive. Give it a try and feel how quickly your ideas come alive. Project number 37, QMD Quick Markdown Search, Local Markdown Search Engine. Let's dive into a smart tool that makes your notes and documentation instantly findable without leaving your local machine. QMD is an open-source, on-device search engine for Markdown files, knowledge bases, meeting transcripts, and docs that combines classic full-text BM25 search with vector semantic search and optional LLM re-ranking, all running locally via Node Llama-LLL SCPP with GGUF models. You can index your content and then query with simple keywords or natural language to get precise matches from your personal archives, ideal for agentic flows or personal knowledge graphs. Built for developers, writers, and researchers who need fast recall of fuzzy concepts or buried insights in Markdown, it keeps everything private and searchable without cloud dependency. Try it and see how quickly your data becomes instantly findable. Project number 38, the Rosetta Prompt, Adaptive Multi-Provider Prompt Optimizer. Imagine exploring a tool that tunes your prompts automatically to work better across different AI providers. The Rosetta Prompt is an open-source Python prompt optimization system that rewrites or adjusts your prompts so they fit the idiosyncrasies of each LLM API you target, with integrations into frameworks like LangChain v1. It simplifies prompt design by normalizing structure and injecting best practices for diverse backends, which matters when you run the same workflow on different models but want consistent outputs. Built for developers and AI practitioners who juggle multiple providers, it helps reduce trial and error in prompt crafting and speeds up reliable multi-model workflows. Try it and feel how unified prompts improve your LLM consistency. Project number 39, Pincher, General Purpose AI Image Generator. Let's dive into a versatile tool for creative visuals that runs with no lock-in to a single provider. Pincher is an open-source AI image generation framework built with React, TypeScript, and Tailwind CSS that connects with multiple generative backends like Hugging Face, ET, and Model Scope to let you create images through flexible API sources. It aims to deliver a sleek, dark-themed UI and straightforward workflow where you can enter prompts, adjust settings, and generate visuals without juggling toolchains. Designed for artists, hobbyists, and creative professionals who want a flexible front end to multiple image models, it keeps your UI smooth while giving you access to a breadth of generation engines. Try it and see how easily you can go from idea to image. Project number 40, Longcat Image, Bilingual Image Generation Foundation Model. Here's something that feels like the future in open-source generative image models that balance quality, efficiency, and accessibility. Longcat Image is a foundation model developed by the Meituan Longcat team with a focus on bilingual Chinese-English text-to-image generation and strong photorealism while keeping model size and VRAM use modest, thanks to a compact architecture with about 6 billion parameters. It addresses core challenges in multilingual text rendering and deployment cost, providing state-of-the-art text depiction and image editing performance compared with larger architectures. It's open source and designed to empower developers and researchers with a production-ready generation model that's easier to run on common hardware. Try it and feel how capable and efficient image creation can become. Project number 41, IMSG, macOS iMessage and SMS CLI. Let's dive into a tool that feels like the future for macOS power users who want messaging right in their terminal. IMSG is a free open-source Go-based command line app that lets you send, receive, list, and live stream Apple Messages, iMessage, and SMS from your Mac by hooking into the native Messages.app database and Apple script for sending. It supports listing chats, filtering by participant, tailing new messages, exporting JSON output for tooling, and attaching files when you send texts. Because it reads locally and uses Apple script for sends, everything stays on your machine with no third-party servers involved, which matters for privacy and control. Built for developers, sysadmins, and tinkerers who prefer keyboard workflows and automation, it transforms Apple messaging into scriptable, terminal-friendly interactions. Try it and feel how natural messaging becomes in your shell. Project number 42, Prompt Forge, Visual Prompt Library for AI Art. Here's something that feels like the future for artists and designers who work with AI image generation regularly. Prompt Forge is an open-source visual prompt management system that gives you an intuitive web interface to organize, browse, edit, and search artistic prompts with visual previews and detailed descriptions. It runs as a local Python Flask backend with a lightweight frontend and stores prompts as JSON, letting you group them into categories like styles, lights, materials, and themes with easy one-click copying to your clipboard. The UI supports dark mode, CRUD operations on prompts, and image previews, so you spend less time hunting for inspiration and more time creating consistent visuals. Built for AI artists, creative teams, and hobbyists who use Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, or similar models, it brings order and discoverability to growing prompt collections. Explore it and see how prompt workflows get smoother. Project number 43, UI UX Pro Max, AI Design Intelligence for UI UX. Let's dive into a resource that feels like the future for developers building designs with AI help. UI UX Pro Max is an open-source AI skill that provides a searchable database of UI styles, color palettes, font pairings, chart types, UX guidelines, and stack-specific best practices so your AI assistant can generate smarter design advice and code. It works as a plugin/skill layer for tools like Claude Code, Cursor, Windsurf, GitHub Copilot, and others, automatically injecting design intelligence when you request UI or UX work. It supports HTML, Tailwind, React, Vue, Svelte, SwiftUI, and more, and helps bridge high-level design concepts with concrete implementation patterns. Built for developers and designers who want consistent, professional UI UX guidance from AI without memorizing style systems, it boosts productivity and quality. Try it and feel how informed your design conversations become. Project number 44, GoSheet Terminal Spreadsheet with rich features. Here's something that feels like the future if you want full-featured spreadsheet power in your terminal without GUI overhead. GoSheet is a robust, open-source CLI spreadsheet app written in Go and built with the TaneView Terminal UI library that runs entirely in your shell and packs over 100 built-in functions, rich cell formatting, multi-sheet workbooks, and support for formats like .xsx, CSV, HTML, and PDF. It offers navigation shortcuts, data validation, sorting, find replace, undo redo, autofill, and viewport optimization, so even large sheets feel responsive. Because it runs locally and uses minimal resources, it's ideal for engineers, analysts, and developers who want Excel-like capabilities straight from the command line without heavy software. Try it and see how quickly your tabular workflows feel powerful and lightweight. Project number 45, Raw Alchemy. Raw Photo Color Grading Bridge. Let's dive into a creative tool that feels like the future for photographers and cinematographers who want precise control over color grading workflows. Raw Alchemy is an open-source Python-based command line utility that bridges the gap between raw photo files and cinematic lookup table color grading by converting raw data into a wide gamut linear space that video LUTs expect, and then applying them accurately, preserving dynamic range and artistic intent. This matters because typical LUTs target log-encoded video spaces, and applying them directly to linear RAW can distort colors. Raw Alchemy fixes that by mathematically aligning the color transform before applying the grade. Built for photographers, colorists, and visual artists who want mathematically correct LUT workflows without cloud services, it gives control, quality, and flexibility. Try it and feel how your graded results hold true to the creative vision. Project number 46. Agent Sessions. macOS LLM Session Monitor. Here's something that feels like the future for AI developers juggling many running agent sessions at once. Agent Sessions is an open-source desktop app written in Rust with Atari Plush React frontend that runs on macOS and shows all your active Claude Code agent sessions in one place with real-time status, thinking, processing, idle, quick session focus, customizable names, and global hotkey access. It integrates with local terminals like iTerm2 and Terminal to bring visibility and control without switching contexts, helping you track and manage multiple workflows at once. Built for developers and AI practitioners who run many agent tasks simultaneously, it boosts productivity and awareness while keeping everything on your machine. Try it and see how smoothly your agent workflows fall into view. Project number 47. Jargon. Personal Research Knowledge Base. Let's dive into a tool that turns scattered research articles and notes into a connected, searchable library that reveals insights across topics. Jargon is a free, open-source personal research platform that ingests articles, extracts key insights, tracks references, and surfaces unexpected connections between ideas across domains. It runs with a database and structured app logic so you can save, query, and explore your reading in deeper context instead of letting insights disappear in a folder. Built for researchers, writers, and lifelong learners, it helps make sense of complexity and keeps your knowledge linked and accessible. Try it and feel how your research becomes easier to navigate. Project number 48. MarkX. Markdown plus Diagrams. Math Editor. Here's something that feels like the future for note lovers and docs creators who want more than plain text. MarkX is an open-source professional markdown editor that runs entirely in your browser with no build step, combining high-quality GitHub-flavored Markdown with Mermaid diagram support and Catex math rendering, so you can write docs, flowcharts, sequence diagrams, and formulas all in one place. It auto-saves drafts, shows live preview, and even exports visuals like SVG/PNG from diagrams without cloud services. Built for writers, developers, and students who want a robust editor with rich visual and math support that stays local and browser-friendly, it makes composing complex docs simple and powerful. Try it and feel how your Markdown editing sharpens. Project number 49. StemLab v1.0. Local AI Song Stem Separator. Let's dive into a tool that feels like the future for music creators and remixers who want studio-quality isolation of vocals and instruments right on their machine. StemLab is an open-source AI-powered audio stem separation app that runs locally with no subscriptions or limits, using state-of-the-art models like DMux and MDXNet to pull out individual tracks, vocals, drums, bass, etc., from mixed songs. It supports batch processing, multiple stem modes, and export to common formats like WAV and MP3, and can leverage GPU acceleration if available. Built for musicians, DJs, and audio engineers who value privacy and control, it makes deep audio editing accessible without cloud uploads. Try it and see how your tracks break apart cleanly and reliably. Project number 50. Nano PDF Editor. AI PDF Edit with natural language. Here's something that feels like the future if you want to tweak PDF content as easily as talking to an assistant. Nano PDF Editor is an open-source CLI tool that lets you edit PDF slides and documents using simple natural language prompts powered by Google's Gemini 3 Pro image model. Nano Banana, converting pages to images, applying your requested changes, then restoring a searchable text layer with OCR so nothing gets lost. You can update text, fix layouts, or insert new pages in parallel with quality control over resolution and style references. Built for professionals and teams who want fast PDF edits without manual design tools, it brings intuitive AI editing to complex documents with control and speed. Try it and see how easily your PDFs respond to your words. Project number 51. Z Image Turbo. high-speed text-to-image server. Here's something that feels like the future for anyone who wants powerful image generation under their control. Z-Image Turbo is a free, open-source web app with a React plus fast API stack that runs Alibaba's 6B parameter Z-image model locally or on your server to generate images from text prompts with snappy performance. It includes both backend and frontend, plus support for the Model Context Protocol (MCP), so you can plug it into AI assistants like Claude and trigger image generation during chats or automated workflows. Designed for creators, developers, and AI tinkerers who value self-hosted and efficient generation without cloud lock-in, it comes with easy local setup, a polished interface, and real-time controls for resolution and style. Try it and feel how quickly ideas become visuals. Project number 52, AI Translator. Browser AI Translation Extension. Let's dive into a handy tool that turns the web into an instant multi-AI translation workspace. AI Translator is an open-source browser extension that lets you select text and translate it on the spot, using multiple AI providers like OpenAI, Claude, Gemini, DeepSeek, and OpenRouter, giving you choices in quality, style, and performance. It runs entirely in your browser and adds intuitive UI on text selection, so you don't have to copy-paste into separate tools. Built for students, readers, and multilingual professionals who want fast, accurate translations on any page without leaving the context, it simplifies understanding content across languages. Try it and feel how quick and seamless web translation becomes. Project number 53, Confidential Compute Open Network, Decentralized AI Compute. Let's dive into a next-generation AI infrastructure that blends privacy, blockchain, and distributed computing. Confidential Compute Open Network, Cocoon, is an open-source initiative by Telegram built on the Ton blockchain that creates a decentralized AI inference marketplace where GPU owners can run AI models inside hardware, trusted execution environments (TEs), and earn Ton tokens, while developers get secure, private, and low-cost AI compute. It routes requests through proxies and uses cryptographic attestation, so data stays encrypted and verifiable throughout execution, tackling centralization and privacy concerns in cloud AI services. Designed for developers, hardware providers, and privacy-focused innovators who want decentralized and confidential AI compute outside traditional cloud providers, it reimagines how AI workloads are delivered and monetized. Try it and feel how secure and open AI compute can scale. Project number 54. Dynamis Remote Coding Agent, Remote Multi-Platform AI Coding Control. Here's something that feels like the future for devs who want to run coding AI assistants from any platform they choose. Dynamis Remote Coding Agent is a free open-source system that lets developers control AI coding assistants like Claude Code or Codex from places such as Telegram or GitHub by keeping persistent sessions that survive restarts and preserve full context. It supports flexible streaming, cloning repos directly, and defining generic commands versioned with Git so your coding workflows stay consistent across environments. Built for engineers who code from multiple devices or remote setups, it keeps your automation and AI-driven coding connected without disruption. Try it and feel how your coding sessions stay alive wherever you are. Project number 55, System Design Visualizer, Interactive Architecture Diagrams. Let's dive into a tool that transforms dry system architecture discussions into visual, conversational diagrams. System Design Visualizer is an open-source web app that helps developers and architects draw, modify, and share system diagrams using an interactive canvas, letting you piece together components, connect services, and lay out workflows that reflect real-world architectures. It abstracts complexity and brings clarity to microservices, event flows, data stores, and API boundaries without heavy tooling. Built for engineers, educators, and teams who explain or iterate on systems with stakeholders, it simplifies thinking and communicating about designs. Try it and see how your architecture talks come alive. Project number 56, Real-Time Payment Architecture and Orchestration, Reference Payment System Design. Let's dive into a project that feels like the backbone of modern digital finance in action. Real-Time Payment Architecture and Orchestration is an open-source Java reference implementation showing how instant payment systems like RTP, SEPA Instant, FedNow, and UPI can be built with ISO 2022 native data models, event-driven microservices, Kafka-based processing, fraud checks, rule-driven routing, resilience patterns, and observability woven together. It includes end-to-end orchestration from input validation through workflow selection and real-time acknowledgements, demonstrating microservices patterns, extensible routing logic, and structured logs for high-availability systems. Built for payments engineers, banking architects, and fintech developers who want a real-world architectural foundation for instant rails and enterprise-grade reliability, it brings theory and industry standards into a concrete demo you can explore. Try it and see how complex payment systems can be modeled clearly. Project number 57, Knowledge-Based Self-Hosting Kit. Docker First RAG Knowledge Server. Here's something that feels like the future for anyone who wants a private, self-hosted RAG knowledge system without cloud lock-in. Knowledge-Based Self-Hosting Kit is an open-source Docker-powered RAG stack combining Docker and document extraction, ChromaDB vector storage, and Llama index retrieval pipelines with a lightweight UI and API that lets you ingest PDFs, Markdown, and docs, and query them with keyword plus vector search. It runs entirely in Docker with hybrid search, vector similarity plus BM25, supports multiple embedding and LLM backends like Llama or OpenAI, and provides REST endpoints for collection creation, upload, and query, keeping all data and queries within your control. Built for researchers, teams, and developers with privacy and customization needs, it makes building and querying your own knowledge base simple and local. Project number 58, Run Prompt, LLM Prompt Runner from your shell. Imagine exploring a tool that makes invoking large language models as simple as typing a command in your terminal. Run Prompt is an open-source command line utility written in Python that lets you execute bot prompt files, standalone templates with prompt text, metadata for model selection, and config directly from your shell and receive structured responses back, making repeatable AI calls easy without extra scripts. It supports .prompt format for consistency across prompts and lets developers keep prompts as code files that integrate directly with automation, workflows, and scripts. Built for developers and engineers who want quick, repeatable AI integrations and structured outputs with minimal setup, it brings LLM prompt execution into the same ecosystem as your other terminal tools. Project number 59, SIP, Customizable Browser Start Page. Let's dive into something that makes your new tab a cozy and productive space instead of a blank screen. SIP is an open-source customizable start page for browsers that offers stunning themes, a clock with light-dark modes, smart search shortcuts, weather integration, personalized quick links, social icons, and keyboard navigation, all stored locally with no data collection. It ships with multiple color schemes and lets you organize favorite sites in categories that feel smooth and personal, with settings like temperature units and footer widgets that reflect your preferences. Built for users who value privacy, organization, and style in their daily browsing, it turns every new tab into a personal dashboard. Try it and see how your browsing rhythm changes. Project number 60. Stacks, Web UI Download Manager for Anna's Archive. Here's something that feels like the future for dedicated book archive users who want fast, reliable downloads with a clean dashboard. Stacks is an open-source containerized download queue manager designed for Anna's Archive, giving you a web UI to queue books, manage downloads, and monitor progress with automatic fallback to mirrors when priority downloads aren't available. It supports secure sessions, queue management, history tracking, browser integration via a script, and easy deployment with Docker Compose so you can run it on your server or local machine. Built for archivists and users who want control and efficiency when downloading large collections, it makes expansive download workflows smoother. Project number 61, Next.AI Draw.io, AI-enhanced diagram creation. Let's dive into the world of Next.AI Draw.io, an open-source web tool that blends the familiar Draw.io diagram editor with modern AI to let you talk to your diagrams instead of dragging shapes around. Built as a Next.js app with TypeScript, it lets users generate, edit, and improve technical diagrams using simple language prompts, turning words into structured XML diagrams behind the scenes. The AI can also take uploaded images and replicate or enhance them, and it keeps track of diagram history so you can revisit earlier versions. This project matters because it removes tedious manual adjustments and helps developers, architects, and tech professionals express ideas with clarity and speed through natural conversation with AI. Explore it once and feel how smooth your diagram work becomes. Project number 62, Nora 1.5, Vision Language Action AI for Robots. Here's something that feels like the future in robotics intelligence. Nora 1.5, an open research model from Declare Lab that blends vision, language, and action into one coherent system. It's a vision language action VLA model designed to take camera input and language instructions and then output real-world actions, helping robots plan and act with understanding and adaptability across multiple environments like simpler and Libero. Nora 1.5 builds on earlier foundations by using world model-based and action-based preference training that improves task success and closed-loop control, meaning robots can interact with their environment more reliably. It's built for researchers and engineers pushing autonomous robotics and embodied AI forward, especially where clear perception and action matter most. Give it a try and see how quickly it becomes part of your workflow. Project number 63, Render CV. Types-powered CV generator, uncluttered by formatting. Let's dive into a tool that turns resume writing into something as simple as writing text. Render CV, an open-source CV and resume generator focused on content first and formatting second. Instead of wrestling with layout tools, you define your CV in YAML text, and the tool compiles it into a clean PDF with perfect typography using Typest, a modern rendering engine that replaces older systems. It removes the tedium of styling and lets you version control your CV just like code, which makes updates and tracking changes easy for academics and engineers who care about both precision and workflow efficiency. Built to support text-driven resumes with consistent pixel-perfect results, this project brings simplicity and structure to a task most professionals hate. Try it today and watch your productivity shift instantly. Project number 64, AutoClaude, Autonomous AI Coding Companion. Here's something that pushes coding automation beyond simple prompts. AutoClaude, an open-source tool aiming to make AI coding workflows more autonomous and multi-session friendly. It builds on agentic AI principles so that instead of running isolated commands, it can maintain context and plan across coding sessions, helping users plan, generate, and refine code over time with integrated agents managing tasks. While still evolving, the project focuses on letting developers offload repetitive work and organize complex jobs into automated workflows that think ahead instead of just respond. It's built in TypeScript and designed for developers who want to elevate their coding process, harnessing AI to free up mental cycles and focus on high-impact problems. Explore it once and feel how smooth your daily tasks become. Project number 65, Automaker Autonomous AI Developer Workspace. Imagine a workspace where your machine does the heavy lifting in building and refining software. That's the core idea behind Automaker, a local open-source agentic IDE that plans, writes, tests, and fixes code autonomously. It blends a visual Kanban board with AI agents that can operate in auto mode, picking up tasks from your backlog and executing them in parallel, reading specs, writing code, and handling errors without constant manual intervention. It supports real-time interaction, letting you see what the AI thinks as it reasons through tasks and gives you control to guide or intervene when needed. Built to boost developer productivity and speed up delivery, Automaker helps creators build software with agents working like junior engineers inside your workflow. Give it a try and see how quickly it becomes part of your workflow. Project number 66, Quinn Image Layered, AI Image to Editable Layers. Here's something that feels like the future of creative editing. Quinn Image Layered is an open-source model that takes a flat image and tears it apart into semantically meaningful RGBA layers, so each part, background, objects, text, can be edited independently without touching the rest. It's a Python-based diffusion model built on the Quinn Image Foundation and released under an Apache license, and it supports recursive decomposition where you can further split a layer into sublayers. This means designers, visual creators, and developers can recolor, reposition, resize, or even delete individual elements cleanly, like working with real Photoshop layers but powered by AI decomposition. Built for precision and control in image editing, this project opens a new chapter in editable generative visuals. Explore it and feel how much easier image work becomes. Project number 67, Conductor, a context-driven Gemini CLI extension. Let's dive into something that reshapes how developers work with AI. Conductor is an open-source extension for the Gemini CLI that introduces context-driven development, so your project's real goals, specs, and plans live next to your code instead of floating in temporary chats. It transforms the Gemini CLI into a structured workspace where you write persistent markdown specs and plans, and the AI follows them throughout the project, keeping your style guides, architecture, and intentions intact. Designed for developers and teams who want predictable, reproducible workflows with AI assistance, Conductor helps organize tracks, phases, and tasks, so you plan before coding and review plans before implementation, which reduces mistakes and keeps human intent in the driver's seat. Try it once and explore how it anchors your AI coding workflows. Project number 68, Tiny PDF, Minimal Zero Dependency PDF Library. Here's a tool that feels like a breath of fresh simplicity. Tiny PDF is a tiny, zero-dependency PDF creation library written in TypeScript with fewer than 400 lines of code. It lets developers generate real PDF documents with text, shapes, images, links, and even markdown conversion without pulling in heavy PDF engines or font packs. Because it sticks to essentials, it's extremely lightweight and perfect for workflows where speed and simplicity matter, like generating reports, invoices, tickets, or certificates programmatically with minimal overhead. Built for engineers who need PDF output without complex tooling, Tiny PDF helps you focus on content and structure, not dependencies. Give it a try and add quick PDF output to your toolkit instantly. Project number 69. Lightron, Lightweight Megatron Implementation. Imagine a research sandbox where large model exploration is approachable. Lightron is an open-source project that provides a light implementation of Megatron-style architectures for study and experimentation. While not a production LLM, this Python-based codebase is aimed at students, researchers, and model builders who want to understand how large transformer-based language models work under the hood without the complexity of full-scale commercial models. It's about learning and prototyping, giving you a simpler base for testing ideas, running small experiments, and seeing how training pipelines behave when scaled. Explore it once and you'll see deeper into LLM structures. Project number 70. History LLMs Historical Language Model Info Hub. Here's something that feels like a time machine for AI. History LLMs is an open information hub tracking a research project focused on training language models exclusively on historically bounded text datasets, such as pre-1913 sources, to create models that represent past society's norms, beliefs, and knowledge without modern hindsight. It collects datasets and notes, e.g., on the Rank 4B model trained only with old texts, and serves as a central repository for the strategy, motivations, and resources guiding this work, giving historians, AI researchers, and curious developers insight into crafting LLMs with temporal alignment in training data. Explore it and discover how AI can mirror specific historical contexts rather than present-day views. Project number 71. Nitrogen, Vision to Action Gaming AI. Imagine exploring an AI that plays video games like a human by watching screens instead of using game engine hooks. Nitrogen is an open research model for generalist gaming agents that takes raw game frames as input and predicts controller actions through behavior cloning on 40,000 plus hours of gameplay drawn from internet videos. It's part of the MindDojo ecosystem and uses a unified vision action transformer that avoids task-specific APIs or reward engineering, letting the same model generalize across thousands of game titles and genres with impressive success rates on unseen games. Built for researchers in embodied AI and game automation, Nitrogen delivers engine-agnostic control and fast experimentation without handcrafted simulation hooks. Give it a try and feel how smoothly it tackles cross-game tasks. Project number 72, Claude Bar, AI Quota Monitor for macOS. Let's dive into a tool that keeps your AI usage under a single glance. Claude Bar is a macOS menu bar app that tracks usage quotas for multiple AI assistants like Claude, Codex, Gemini, and Copilot in real time. Built in Swift with a layered architecture and protocol-based design, it displays session, weekly, and provider-specific usage with color-coded indicators so you always know when you're near your limits. It adapts to light-dark themes, supports keyboard shortcuts, and even includes visual alerts for quota thresholds, which helps developers and heavy AI users manage cost and avoid interruptions. Designed for creators and engineers juggling multiple AI tools, Claude Bar simplifies monitoring so you stay productive without surprise throttles. Try it today and watch your workflow stay on track. Project number 73, GitHub Yule Log, Festive CLI Extension. Here's a fun twist on developer tooling for the holidays. GitHub Yule Log is a GitHub CLI extension that turns your terminal into an animated festive Yule log display while you browse commit history. Written in Go and installable via the GitHub CLI, it adds cozy vibes to your dev environment by animating logs with a fireplace effect and optional contribution graph visuals, themed to the season. It's MIT licensed and works as an add-on atop the standard GH tool, making it a light but enjoyable addition for developers who want a playful way to view history or lighten up long sessions. Explore it once and feel the festive spark in your terminal workflow. Project number 74, Tailwind Seal. Tailwind-style SEO queries. Imagine writing database queries with the same vibe as Tailwind SEO. Tailwind SEO tries exactly that by letting you encode SEO into class-like syntax inside React Server components. Instead of handwritten SEO strings, you write queries like db-users-name, where ID 1, which internally map to real SEO, and an interactive playground shows results in real time. Built with next.js and SEOlite, it's more of a playful exploration of query syntax than a production database tool, and its unique DSL sparks conversation about readability and experimentation in query design. Although it's a bit tongue-in-cheek and not recommended for hardened systems, it gives developers a fresh way to think about querying. Project number 75. Get Shit Done. Spec-driven LLM workflow system. Let's dive into a project that brings structure to AI coding workflows. Get Shit Done is an open-source system for meta-prompting, context engineering, and spec-driven development targeted at Claude Code. It helps developers define clear specs and contexts, so large language models can generate, refine, and align outputs with detailed project intentions rather than ad hoc prompts. Acting as a bridge between planning and execution, it supports organized task definition that reduces ambiguity and improves AI contribution quality, which matters for professionals relying on LLMs for development tasks. Built for creators and developers seeking control, this system turns messy prompt chains into reproducible, spec-aligned outputs. Give it a try and feel how much clearer your AI-driven work becomes. Project number 76. Git Story, Cinematic Code History View. Let's dive into a tool that turns raw development history into a narrative experience. Git Story is an open-source web app that transforms your GitHub or GitLab activity into a cinematic story-style timeline showing commits, productivity patterns, top repos, and languages, with smooth visual slides that feel like a compelling personal recap. It's built with next.js and uses APIs from GitHub and optionally GitLab to fetch real data and generate interactive charts and visuals that celebrate your coding rhythm and progress. Developers, freelancers, and open-source contributors can use it to reflect on milestones, share visually engaging portfolios, or explore contribution history beyond flat graphs. Explore it once and feel how your code journey comes alive. Project number 77, DVGT, Driving Visual Geometry Transformer. Here's something that feels like the future in scene understanding. DVGT is a research-oriented visual geometry transformer model that reconstructs dense 3D scene geometry from multi-view images without needing predefined camera data, making it especially suited for autonomous driving perception tasks, where robust 3D maps are essential. It uses a transformer backbone with intraview, cross-view, and temporal attention to infer metric-scaled point maps directly from unposed sequences, avoiding alignment post-processing, and generalizing across arbitrary drives and camera setups. Built for researchers and engineers in autonomous systems and spatial perception, this project combines cutting-edge geometry modeling with flexible input handling, bridging 2D vision and 3D understanding in real-world contexts. Project number 78, Particulate, Feed-Forward 3D Object Articulation. Here's something that feels like the future of 3D understanding. Particulate is an open-source research project that takes a single static 3D mesh of an object and instantly identifies its articulated structure, its movable parts, joints, and motion constraints using a feed-forward transformer model instead of slow per-object optimization. Its architecture predicts all articulation attributes from point clouds with a single forward pass, delivering complete articulated models in seconds, much faster than older methods and outperforming them on accuracy. Written in Python, with PyTorch, and tested on everyday objects and AI-made 3D assets, Particulate matters because it bridges static geometry and motion understanding, enabling creators and researchers to animate, simulate, or repurpose 3D models with less manual rigging and more control. Give it a try, and feel how your 3D workflows open up. Project number 79, DesignOS, Guided AI-Driven Product Design Tool. Here's something that feels like the missing link between idea and implementation. DesignOS is an open-source product planning and design workspace that guides builders through structured conversations to define vision, roadmap, data models, UI, and exported components before any code is written. It runs locally with TypeScript and Tailwind CSS, and you interact with it via conversational/commands that help you clarify requirements, pick design tokens like colors and typography, shape screen layouts, and then export production-ready React UI components for your codebase. Because many AI coding tools skip planning and jump straight to code, Design OS matters now. It brings clarity, shared intent, and a source of truth to projects, so developers and product creators avoid endless redesign loops and misaligned builds. Try it and feel how smoothly your ideas turn into real UI deliverables. Project number 80, Ludus Fast MCP, AI-driven cyber range management. Here's something that feels like you're giving your cyber labs a brain. Ludus Fast MCP is an open-source model context protocol, MCP server, that lets AI assistants manage Ludus cyber range environments with natural language instead of manual scripts. Built in Python and exposing 157 tools across 15 modules, it can control range lifecycle tasks like creating labs, deploying scenarios, building OS templates, managing Ansible roles, and integrating with SIM stacks such as Wazoo or Splunk using conversational commands. It works with MCP-compatible clients like Claude Desktop, VS Code, or anything LLM, turning your range infrastructure into an interactive, AI-accessible workspace. Designed for cybersecurity professionals and educators who want to automate complex labs and workflows, it simplifies big setups into clear prompts. Try it today and watch your environment automation shift instantly. Project number 81. The world is your canvas. Promptable World Simulation AI. Imagine a system where your words, images, and motion paths become living, controllable video worlds. The World is Your Canvas is an open-source multimodal framework that lets users generate rich, coherent video events by combining natural language, reference images, and object trajectories into a unified simulation engine. Instead of static outputs, it produces sequences with object interactions, motion timing, and consistent scene identity, supporting multi-agent events that maintain visual and temporal coherence. Built in Python with custom inference scripts for large models tuned for image-to-video tasks, this repository empowers researchers and creators to move beyond text-only generation toward interactive world modeling that feels more like storytelling than prompt response generation. It matters for anyone exploring expressive video synthesis and user-directed scene control. Give it a try and feel how dynamic your media becomes. Project number 82, Just.js HTML, Zero-Dependency HTML5 Parser in JS. Here's something that feels like the backbone of every browser and editor. Just.js HTML is a pure JavaScript port of the minimalist HTML5 parser, originally written in Python, aiming to pass the full HTML5 test suite with no dependencies and work smoothly in browsers or node.js. Built for developers and tool builders who need a standards-compliant, lightweight HTML parser that's easy to integrate, it recreates core parsing behavior into JS with a familiar API while keeping code simple and dependency-free. It's ideal for projects that need robust HTML handling without pulling in heavy libraries, improving performance and portability across environments. Try it and see how seamlessly it fits into your web tooling. Project number 83, Video2 Robot, End-to-End Video-to-Motion Pipeline. Let's dive into a pipeline that turns generated video into physical robot actions. Video2 Robot is an open-source project that strings together video generation, human pose extraction, and robot motion conversion into a seamless system that lets you prompt or upload video and produce humanoid robot motion sequences. It uses tools like Veo or Sora for video generation, Prompt HMR for 3D pose extraction, and a motion retargeting framework to convert human movement into robot-ready instructions, with Python-based scripts managing each stage. Designed for robotics researchers and creators interested in embodied AI and animation automation, this pipeline simplifies a complex multi-step workflow into reproducible scripts that adapt human motion into real-world robot actions. Try it and watch your visual ideas move robots. Project number 84, LLM TradeBot, Multi-Agent AI Trading System. Here's something that feels like giving your investments a team of thinkers. LLM TradeBot is an open-source, agent-based AI trading system built around large language models that analyze market conditions, adapt strategies, and execute trades in real time. Instead of a single decision maker, it orchestrates multiple agents to gather data, form strategy, and respond to live market changes, aiming for optimized execution and adaptability under shifting conditions. It's geared toward developers and quantitative researchers exploring autonomous financial agents, offering a playground for experimenting with AI-led strategy development, risk assessment, and trading automation. Dive in and feel how quickly it reshapes your trading experiments. Project number 85, ICFOS, Terminal First Markdown Research Tool. Imagine your research notes and markdown files living in a fast, distraction-free terminal space. Ekphos is an open-source, lightweight markdown research tool built in Rust that channels the feel of Obsidian into your shell. It's designed for productivity, letting writers, researchers, and developers browse, edit, and cross-reference notes quickly without heavy GUIs, and it supports inline images in compatible terminals. Because it's terminal-centric and written for speed, Ekphos brings a low-overhead, keyboard-friendly alternative to bloated editors, making deep research and writing sessions feel fluid and focused. Try it today and watch your note-taking workflow sharpen. Project number 86. TCL, Keyboard First Postgres Manager. Let's dive into a tool that turns database work into a fluid terminal experience. TCL is an open-source, keyboard-first Postgres manager with a full-screen TUI terminal user interface built in Rust to help developers and DBAs work faster without leaving the terminal. It blends a split-pane query editor, results grid, schema-aware autocomplete, and Vim-style key bindings into one responsive CLI so you can browse tables, run queries, edit JSON columns, and navigate results without distractions. It feels like having a modern IDE inside your shell, with syntax highlighting, fuzzy history search, and familiar PCL commands, enhanced by smart navigation. Designed for productivity and control, TCL brings rich database interaction to anyone who lives in the terminal. Give it a try and see how quickly it becomes part of your workflow. Project number 87, Sharp, Fast Monocular View Synthesis from Photos. Here's something that feels like turning a single photo into a living 3D scene in a blink. Sharp is an open-source research project from Apple that synthesizes photorealistic new viewpoints from just one image by predicting a compact 3D Gaussian scene representation in less than a second with a feed-forward neural network. Once it learns the structure and appearance, you can render high-resolution nearby views in real time, supporting true metric camera movement and sharp details that outpace prior techniques by a wide margin. Because it runs quickly and generalizes across datasets without falling back on heavy 3D pipelines, Sharp matters for creators, vision researchers, and immersive media developers, exploring fast 3D reconstruction and novel view rendering. Try it and feel how fluid the jump from flat to 3D becomes. Project number 88. Dogalog, live coding music with Prolog logic. Imagine coding music the way you write logic rules, with sound patterns emerging from logical inference. Dogalog is an open-source live coding environment where you write Prolog-style rules to define rhythmic and melodic patterns that play in real time as you type. It uses custom logic resolution and scheduled audio synthesis with web audio so your patterns evolve without manual looping, and state persists across edits so you can refine grooves and melodies interactively. Built with vanilla JavaScript, the system includes an interactive tutorial and music-centric predicates that make algorithmic composition feel playful and expressive for live performers and coding musicians alike. Explore it once and feel how satisfying rule-driven music creation can be. Project number 89, Cursor Unchained, Freeing Elite Tab Completion. Here's something that feels like giving every editor Elite Tab Completion. Cursor Unchained is an open-source project that reverse engineers the sophisticated AI-powered tab complete from the Cursor editor so other IDEs can use it too. It decodes network calls to Cursor's completion service and exposes contextual tab complete suggestions that feel richer and more predictive than standard code completions, aiming to bridge a gap where great suggestions are traditionally locked to a single tool. Built-in TypeScript with simple CLI run scripts, it's for developers who want cutting-edge completion logic in lighter editors or custom environments, blending speed with smarter suggestions. Try it and watch how your coding rhythm changes. Project number 90, Universal App Opener, Deep Linking Made Simple. Let's dive into a library that bridges the web and native experiences effortlessly. Universal App Opener is an open-source, zero-dependency JavaScript toolkit that detects common web URLs like YouTube or LinkedIn and opens the corresponding content in the native mobile app when available, using platform-specific deep links or intents. It works in browsers and mobile environments, improving user experience by reducing needless web redirects and giving developers a simple open link call that handles detection for you. Designed for web and app creators focused on smooth navigation and context-aware launching, it makes multi-platform link handling straightforward and reliable. Try it once and feel how natural opening the right app becomes. Project number 91, Cinephage, self-hosted all-in-one media manager. Let's dive into the world of Cinephage, a self-hosted media management app that feels like a digital film librarian on your own server, built in TypeScript with a SvelteKit frontend and node.js backend. Cinephage lets you search for movies and TV shows, pull them from indexers, organize your library, score quality, and even grab subtitles automatically, all backed by a single database and tight automation. It integrates with tools like qBittorrent or SABINZBD for downloads, taps TMDB for metadata, and has monitoring tasks in development to keep content fresh. This project is under active development by a solo creator, designed for media lovers who want more control and privacy than commercial streaming, and it can run via Docker or local install right now. Give it a try and feel how smooth your media workflow becomes. Project number 92, Listing Lab, Real Estate Listing Tracker and Organizer. Imagine a tool that makes house hunting feel manageable, instead of chaotic. That's Listing Lab, a friendly workspace for saving, tagging, and tracking homes you're considering. It's a self-hosted app built with Python and JavaScript on top of Odoo, complete with an optional scraper service that watches for price drops and status changes so your shortlist stays fresh without constant manual updates. You can add notes, photos, tags, and share your shortlist with others, all while running the app locally via Docker Compose. It matters right now for anyone tired of scattered spreadsheets and bookmarking, bringing real-time property insights into a single place on your own system. Explore it once and feel how smooth your property search becomes. Project number 93, Journavine. Private journal, self-hosted privacy-first journaling. Here's something that feels like the future of personal reflection. Journavine, a privacy-first, self-hosted journaling app that gives you a safe home for your thoughts and mood. Running on JavaScript and Python, it lets you write entries, track mood trends, upload media, use prompts, and search everything with advanced filters, all on your own server with full data ownership. Designed for mindful journalers who don't want cloud services mining their data, Journav ships with a Docker ready-to-run setup and clean UI, making it simple to deploy and start logging life. With active development and a growing community, it's built for anyone serious about preserving memory without compromise. Give it a try, and watch how it becomes part of your daily routine. Project number 94, CLDIS, Local First Personal AI Assistant. Let's dive into the world of CLDIS, a personal AI assistant that lives on your own machines and talks to you where you already spend time. WhatsApp, Telegram, web chat, and native apps. Written in TypeScript with companion Swift and Kotlin components for macOS and mobile, CLDIS runs a local gateway that keeps your assistant private, fast, and always on, managing state and sessions while you chat or speak. Built for people who want control, it can understand voice, render a live visual canvas, and connect to automation workflows without cloud lock-in. With a rich skill workspace and extensibility via custom commands, CLDIS appeals to privacy-minded creators and tinkers who want an assistant that feels personal and responsive. Explore it and feel how smooth your digital interactions become. Project number 95, Proxy Checker Pro, UI-based proxy validation tool. Here's a handy tool for anyone working with proxies. Proxy Checker Pro, a desktop app written in Python with a dark-themed GUI that tests HTTP, HTTPS, SOCKS 4, and SOCKS 5 proxies in real time. It loads proxy lists in multiple formats, verifies connectivity, measures speed, detects country, and filters duplicates without extra dependencies beyond the standard library. You can sort results, export them to CSV or text, and tweak settings like timeouts or test URLs to fit different use cases from web scraping to network administration. Built to be straightforward and cross-platform, it puts detailed proxy insights in one place, helping developers and researchers validate networks and privacy layers quickly. Try it today, and watch your proxy workflows shift instantly. Project number 96, Stepify, self-hosted STL to step converter. Imagine a tool that turns 3D printing chaos into CAD clarity. That's Stepify, a self-hosted web app that converts STL mesh files into solid step format on your own hardware. Built on node.js with a web interface using 3.js for previews and FreeCAD running headless inside Docker. Stepify lets makers and engineers drag and drop files, fix mesh issues, adjust tolerance, and get step files compatible with CAD tools without uploading anything online. It runs via Docker Compose and queues conversions with Redis, so you can process batches reliably. Stepify matters for anyone working across 3D printing and CAD software who wants speed, privacy, and control. Give it a try and see how smoothly it fits your workflow. Project number 97, Markdown Sync Framework, Markdown Site Publishing Framework. Here's something that feels like the future of writing for the web and AI. Markdown Site, an open-source publishing framework, built so Markdown content instantly syncs from your terminal to browsers, LLMs, and agents. It uses Convex for backend sync and can deploy via Netlify, making written content live without complex builds. You write in Markdown, hit sync, and the framework handles updating your site and data sources, enabling both human readers and AI agents to access the latest content. It's built for developers, technical writers, and AI creators who want simple publishing workflows with real-time visibility. Explore it and feel how smooth your content flow becomes. Project number 98, Universal Reddit Scraper Suite. Universal Reddit Scraper. Let's dive into a full-featured Reddit scraper suite that works on any subreddit or user, giving you raw data and analytics without relying on official APIs. Universal Reddit Scraper, written in Python, can pull posts, comments, and user activity from Reddit, store it in SQLite, and serve it with a Streamlit dashboard for searching, visualizing, and analyzing trends in sentiment or engagement. It supports scheduling jobs and notifications so you can track topics over time. This tool matters for researchers and analysts exploring social patterns or community insights without API limits. Try it and see how it simplifies your data gathering. Project number 99, CSVX Editor, Web-based Enhanced CSV Editor. Imagine editing CSV data with the simplicity of a spreadsheet, but with richer formatting. That's CSVX Editor, a web-based app supporting the enhanced CSVX format. Built with modern web tech, it gives you spreadsheet-like interaction for structured data while extending plain CSV with features for better layout and usability in the browser. This tool makes handling tabular data easier for analysts, data practitioners, or anyone tired of flat CSV files and clunky editors. You can load datasets, edit cells, and leverage CSVX's extra capabilities without installing heavy desktop software. It's built for speed and clarity. Give it a try and watch your data tasks become more fluid. Project number 100, Vibe Kanban, Kanban board for AI coding agents. Here's something that feels like the next step for developer workflows. Vibe Kanban, an open-source Kanban board designed to orchestrate AI coding agents and human tasks together. Built with a front-end in React and Tailwind UI and a back-end in node.js with optional database support, it lets you plan, track, and manage work being done by agents like Claude Code or other tools as well as your own team. You can spin it up quickly with Docker Compose and integrate it with GitHub so tasks flow from planning to pull requests. This project is built for developers and AI teams who want clarity and control over complex workflows. Explore it and see how your planning and execution become more structured. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this roundup, please like the video, subscribe, comment your favorite repo from the list, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next drop. Be sure to star the projects on GitHub and try the demos linked in the description. Tell us what you want to see next and share suggestions for next video. Your ideas help shape future episodes.